Welcome back to our channel. In this video, we reveal some of the most valuable coins in the world, coins that collectors and investors are willing to pay thousands or even millions for. Act I begins with a single idea, a spark that changes everything. Imagine this, a penny, a tiny, ordinary, almost invisible coin that most people wouldn't bother to pick up if it were lying on the sidewalk. Yet this very coin, the 2009 no-mint mark Lincoln penny with a rare production error, is shaking the collector's market today. And right now, it is commanding prices that reach as high as $999,000. Yes, nearly $1 million for a coin worth 1 cent on paper. That contrast alone is enough to make anyone's heart race, especially if you've ever wondered whether the loose change in your home could be hiding a fortune. As we open our story, I want you to think about the last time you handled a penny. Did you even look at it? Did you glance at the date? Did you notice the details? Most people don't. Most people assume pennies are worthless, forgettable, even annoying. But what if the penny that falls between your car seats is the one that could rewrite your financial future? If you just felt a tiny chill in your stomach, that's perfectly normal. That's the fear of missing out, because even right now, as you watch this, someone in America is discovering a life-changing coin they didn't even know they owned. Act I shifts as we go deeper. The year 2009 marked Abraham Lincoln's bicentennial, and the U.S. Mint released a series of special design cents. Collectors were excited, but they weren't prepared for what happened next. A very small number of these coins left the mint with a rare, unintentional error, no mint mark at all. No indication of where it was produced. A tiny absence that transforms the coin from ordinary pocket change into a treasure so rare that sellers and investors now treat it like a miniature piece of real estate. And because this coin is not just a historical artifact but a modern-era anomaly, it is in high demand among buyers who are willing to pay massive sums to secure the few known surviving examples. A penny that cost 1 cent to make, now becoming a symbol of opportunity, wealth, and destiny. And before we step into Act 2, let me ask a quick question, because a little pattern interrupt keeps the mind awake. When you were young, did you ever dream of finding buried treasure? Be honest. Most of us did. Well, guess what? You're not holding a shovel now. You're holding your own curiosity. And sometimes that's all the treasure map you need. Act 2 begins with the journey of discovery. People across the United States, from California to New York, have recently stumbled across these 2009 era pennies in old jars, childhood collections, even drawers they haven't opened in decades. Imagine the shock. People who once assumed their financial future depended on a promotion or a business deal, suddenly realizing that wealth was sitting quietly inside a dusty container in the closet. And here's where the excitement builds, because the value of this coin is not just increasing, it is skyrocketing. Collectors want them, investors hunt for them, auction houses compete for them, and serious buyers, people with deep pockets, are waiting for the next one to appear because the supply is extremely limited. High demand meets microscopic supply. That is the formula for massive value. But don't get comfortable. Just when you think you've grasped the full magnitude of this, the story takes a turn. Not all 2009 pennies are equal. Not all missing mark errors are the same. Some have microscopic details, tiny design variances, faint doubling on the lettering, or unusual die breaks that push the price higher and higher. It's like the coin version of a plot twist. You think you've seen everything, and then the details reveal an even rarer layer beneath. People are discovering that their coins are not just valuable, they are among the rarest in existence. And collectors love rarity the way the world loves diamonds. As you watch this, you may be thinking about your own coins. You may be feeling the urgency begin to rise, the small, electric thought that maybe, just maybe, you have a fortune hidden somewhere. And if that feeling is there, hold on to it. Because as we step toward Act 3, the intensity only grows. Now, before we enter the final act, let me drop a brief moment of humor to reset your mind. If you're suddenly planning to turn your entire house upside down looking for pennies after this video, don't worry, you're not alone. Last week someone emailed saying they checked their car cup holder and felt richer than Warren Buffett for 3 seconds. That's the energy we're dealing with here. Act 3 opens with the moment of truth. The current market for the 2009 no-mint mark Lincoln era penny has reached a point where serious buyers are offering as high as $999,000 for pristine, high-grade examples with verified authentication. This is not a prediction. This is happening now. The world of coin collecting has entered a new wave, driven by investors who treat rare coins as luxury assets. Assets that gain value the way fine art or rare watches do. The people selling these coins are not just earning money. They are transforming their lifestyles, paying off mortgages, starting businesses, building wealth that their past selves never imagined possible. And the next person to experience that breakthrough could be you. But here's where the cliffhanger comes in, because the story isn't over. The number of these coins that remain undiscovered is unknown. Some experts believe only a handful are left in circulation. Others argue there may be dozens still sitting unnoticed in jars across the country. No one truly knows, and that uncertainty is what creates opportunity. The window to find one or to own one will not stay open forever. The value is increasing, the demand is rising, and collectors are becoming more competitive every single year. The clock is ticking. As we close this journey, I want you to imagine a moment in the near future. A moment where you're holding a tiny copper coin, just 1 cent in weight but nearly $1 million in value. A moment where your past curiosity unlocks a wealthy lifestyle, travel, security, comfort, freedom, all from a penny the world thought was worth nothing. So don't ignore your coins. Don't underestimate the small things. Sometimes wealth isn't loud or obvious. Sometimes it hides in plain sight, waiting for the one person wise enough to look closer. That person could be you. Imagine waking up tomorrow and realizing a single penny, yes, that copper coin you tossed into a drawer decades ago, could be worth more than the house you're living in. Today, we're talking about a coin that's shaking the entire collector's market. A 1940 no-mint mark wheat penny, recently valued at nearly $888,000. Don't rub your eyes. The number is real, the demand is real, and if you've got one tucked away, the opportunity is real. But before you run to check your piggy bank, stay with me, because what I'm about to reveal could be the moment your financial journey changes forever. Act 1 begins with a simple truth. Americans everywhere, people just like you, are discovering that the spare change they once ignored holds hidden fortunes. The 1940 no-mint mark wheat penny isn't just an antique. It's become a symbol of possibility, a doorway for collectors and everyday individuals into a world where rare coins command life-changing payouts. And what makes this coin so powerful is not just its age, but the extraordinary errors that slipped past the U.S. Mint, errors that now carry values reaching toward $1 million. You might be thinking, a penny? Worth a luxury home? And the answer is yes, if you know what to look for. But here's where it gets exciting and maybe a little nerve-wracking, because most people who own this coin don't even realize it. They're holding onto it without knowing they're sitting on a financial time bomb in the best way possible. And if that doesn't make you want to dump out every jar of coins you own, I don't know what will. Did I mention that most of these valuable varieties were found by people who weren't even collectors? Everyday folks sorting through change, thinking they'll find a few cents, then accidentally tripping over a jackpot. So stay with me, because in Act 2 we're diving into the errors, the market demand, and how a simple, overlooked detail can turn a penny into generational wealth. Now, Act 2 opens with a question that resets your brain a bit. Have you ever wondered why the U.S. Mint, one of the most precise institutions in the country, still lets mistakes slip through? Because even machines have bad days. And in 1940, a few of those bad days produced some of the most sought-after wheat penny errors we have today. Missing details, doubled features, off-center strikes. Tiny quirks that collectors absolutely chase like treasure hunters. These are the details that transform a 1-cent coin into a high-demand, top-tier collectible commanding staggering auction results. And the demand is only growing. Right now, collectors across the U.S. are aggressively paying premiums, competing in bidding wars, and pushing values to historic highs. Some are investors seeking long-term holdings, some are collectors completing rare sets, and some are simply people chasing the thrill of owning a piece of American history. The 1940 no-mint mark wheat penny with the right error has recently been estimated at a market value soaring close to the $888,000 mark. Let that sink in. A coin minted for almost nothing now valued like an elite investment property. And here's the cliffhanger. In a moment, I'm going to reveal the single most important detail that determines whether your penny is worth a few dollars or a life-changing fortune. But before I do, have you checked your pockets yet? Don't worry. Finish the video first. As we transition deeper, ask yourself one thing: what would you do if you found one? Would you sell it immediately? Hold it for appreciation? Pass it to your children as the first chapter in a legacy? Because the people discovering these coins aren't just making money, they're transforming their lives. They're paying off debt, purchasing dream homes, building businesses, securing retirements. And this is where the urgency enters the story. The market is hot right now, blazing hot, and coins in premium condition are becoming harder to find every year. Collectors are hunting them down faster than they're surfacing. Which means if you have one, time is your ally, but only if you act. Act 3 begins with purpose, because this is the moment everything comes together. That single detail I mentioned earlier, it's all about the strike quality and the presence of specific minting anomalies. Doubling, off-center impressions, missing elements, these errors skyrocket the value. And the cleaner the coin, the more pristine the details, the higher the payout climbs. If your 1940 no-mint mark wheat penny shows one of these rare attributes, you're not dealing with pocket change. You're holding opportunity, and buyers are waiting with open wallets. Now, humor me for just a second. If you're suddenly wondering whether the coin taped to your refrigerator with a magnet is about to pay for your next beach house, you're not alone. Thousands of people have turned to experts only to discover they've been overlooking a fortune sitting inside an old coffee can. But the difference between them and you is that you now know exactly what to look for. And more importantly, you know the extraordinary value your coin can unlock. As we near the end, here's your final cliffhanger. The next rare penny that breaks a record could very well be discovered by someone watching this video right now. The next $1 million coin might already be in your home, untouched, unnoticed, waiting for the right moment. And the question is, will you check for it? Will you take action? Will you choose the wealthy lifestyle waiting on the other side of this opportunity? The power is in your hands. Your journey doesn't start with a bank account or a business. It starts with a single penny. A penny that could rewrite your financial future. So take a deep breath, feel that excitement, and go search for your 1940 no-mint mark wheat penny. Because the next success story might be yours. Act 1 opens with a single, powerful truth. And today, you're about to hear one that could change your life. Imagine opening an old drawer, lifting a dusty jar, or finding a forgotten box in the attic, only to discover that a tiny, ordinary-looking coin, something you've probably held thousands of times in your life, might actually be worth over $865,000. Yes, you heard that right. Penny worth nearly $1 million. Before you think I'm exaggerating, stay right here, because the coin we're talking about today, the 1944 no-mint mark wheat penny with a rare error, is one of the most sought-after treasures in the numismatic world. And someone watching this video right now might already have one without even realizing it. But before we dive into that, let me ask you something. When was the last time you checked your old coins? I mean, really checked them? And no, just shaking the coin jar doesn't count. If you're like most people, your pennies are sitting quietly in a box somewhere, plotting to surprise you with life-changing wealth while you go about your day sipping coffee. Funny how sometimes, fortune literally hides in the spare change we ignore. Now, here's the hook that matters. The 1944 no-mint mark wheat penny is in massive demand right now. Collectors, investors, and auction houses are competing for it harder than kids fighting over the last slice of pizza. And the rarest ones, those with a specific error, have been selling $4,865,000 and climbing. Act 1 ends here because now we step deeper into the mystery. And trust me, you'll want to hear what's coming next. Act 2 begins with the real question. What makes this penny so powerful, so valuable, so unbelievably important in today's marketplace? Simple and shocking. During World War II, the U.S. Mint was experimenting with metals. In 1943, pennies were made from steel. In 1944, the Mint returned to copper. But a few experimental and transitional planchets, blank metal discs, slipped into production by mistake. And some of those 1944 pennies were minted with the wrong steel composition. resulting in an ultra-rare error coin that's worth a small fortune today. Here's where it gets exciting. Collectors aren't just looking for this coin. They're hunting it like treasure seekers searching for buried gold. And because this penny has no mint mark, it becomes even more intriguing. The Philadelphia Mint produced millions of pennies, but only a microscopic fraction contained this precious error. The odds are slimmer than finding a snowflake in the desert, and yet, someone out there always beats the odds. Maybe today that someone is you. But don't rush to check your coin jar just yet, because you still need to know what to look for. And this could be the difference between finding a penny worth 1 cent or a penny that buys you a new house. First, the weight is different. The sound when dropped is different. The shine is different. And yes, its magnetic pull can give it away instantly. But in a moment, we'll talk about the specific traits that raise the value into the six-figure range. Quick question as a pattern interrupt. Have you ever held something in your hand and thought, this feels valuable, even if you had no idea why? That's exactly how collectors describe this coin. Practically radiates history. And money. Lots of money. Now, here's the cliffhanger that pulls us right to the edge of Act 3. Because although the 1944 no-mint mark wheat penny is already a dream find, one version of it, one tiny variation, has skyrocketed its value to $865,000 in recent sales. Why? Because this version is not just rare, it's almost mythic. And in just a moment, I'll tell you exactly what makes that version different. So don't move. Seriously, stay right here. Act 3 brings us to the heart of the story, and the part that could directly affect your wealth, your future, and maybe even your lifestyle. This coin is worth big money because of a perfect storm of demand, scarcity, and powerful historical context. Remember, 30 to 65-year-old Americans, the generation of collectors, investors, and legacy builders, are now in their golden buying years. This means the market for rare pennies is hotter than ever. Prices have surged. Auctions are intense. Private buyers are paying premium rates. When something is this valuable and this hard to find, its price will keep climbing. So what separates the $10,000 versions from the $865,000 versions? It comes down to the purity of the steel planchet, the crispness of the strike, and the unmistakable visual markers that trained experts look for. The coin must show the 1944 date, absolutely no mint mark, and it must be minted on a leftover 1943 steel blank. These coins passed through the mint unnoticed, but today, they are numismatic royalty. If yours meets these conditions, its value could exceed anything you've ever imagined. Imagine selling one coin and paying off every debt. Imagine upgrading your home, investing in your future, or finally taking that vacation you've been promising yourself for years. Wealth doesn't always arrive in big boxes. Sometimes it fits in the palm of your hand. Before we wrap up, let me reset your attention with one more thought. What if I told you that thousands of people throw away rare pennies every year? Yes, straight into Coinstar machines, into tip jars, into donation bowls. If that doesn't terrify you just a little, it should. Because the people who take the time to look, the people who search carefully, they're the ones who discover treasures while everyone else walks past them. The current market value for the rare error 1944 no-mint mark wheat penny stands at about $865,000, depending on condition and certification. And demand is only growing. Collectors are actively searching. Auctions are standing by. The opportunity is wide open today. Not tomorrow. Not next year. Right now. This is the part where Act 3 closes with inspiration, power, and urgency. Because you are not just watching a video. You are discovering a chance. One that could transform your life. That old coin jar sitting in your drawer? It might be holding a pipeline to wealth, a key to financial freedom, or the stepping stone to the lifestyle you've been wanting to build. So here's your next step. Check your collections. Go through your boxes. Look at your old jars. Examine your family pennies. Because someone watching this video right now, is going to find the next rare 1944 wheat penny worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. And that someone could be you. And now, as we bring this journey to a close, remember this: wealth doesn't always shout. Sometimes, it whispers from the smallest of places. All you have to do is listen. In a world overflowing with loose change, where pennies slip between couch cushions and disappear into old jars in the garage. There exists one solitary coin that has the power to transform an ordinary life into one of wealth, freedom, and possibility. Today, we're uncovering the remarkable story of the 1945 no-mint mark wheat penny, a coin that, due to a phenomenal error and extreme rarity, has surged to a staggering market value of approximately $893,000. And yes, one of these might just be sitting quietly in someone's old collection, waiting to change their future forever. But before we go deeper, let me ask you this. When was the last time you checked the pennies in your home? If your answer is sometime last decade, don't worry. After today's video, you might suddenly feel the urge to tear through your drawers like a treasure hunter in a blockbuster film. And honestly, you should. Because the story you're about to hear is not simply about a coin. It's about opportunity. It's about timing. And it's about the unbelievable things that can happen when rare history intersects with a moment of discovery. This is Act 1, the beginning of your journey, where curiosity becomes possibility. The year was 1945. America was emerging from the final shadows of World War II. The nation was rebuilding, industries were booming, and millions of pennies were being minted for everyday use. But buried within that massive production run, a fascinating anomaly occurred. One so subtle, so unexpected, that for decades it went unnoticed. A minting error, delicate, almost invisible, gave birth to one of the most valuable wheat pennies in existence. This wasn't just any no-mint mark penny. It was a coin struck with an extraordinary flaw, making it one of the rarest variations collectors have ever seen. And like all great legends, it remained hidden in plain sight, quietly passing from hand to hand, until someone finally understood its true worth. Collectors across the country have since been driven by the thrill of the chase, hunting for this elusive treasure. And almost overnight, the marketplace transformed. Demand skyrocketed. Auction houses reported unprecedented interest. Private buyers, investors, and high-net-worth collectors began offering jaw-dropping sums, hundreds of thousands of dollars, to secure one of these historical masterpieces. The current market value has reached an astonishing $893,000, a number that raises eyebrows, pulses, and heart rates all at once. It is no exaggeration to say that finding one of these coins could completely shift someone's financial trajectory. Imagine discovering that a penny, a simple 1-cent coin, holds enough value to buy a luxury home, retire early, or fund a life of travel and abundance. But here's where the story takes on a gripping sense of urgency. As the value of rare coins climbs, more people are entering the market. More collectors, more investors, more competitors. And while that's great for overall demand, it means the window of opportunity is narrowing. Those who act fast stand to benefit the most. This isn't a market slowing down, it's accelerating. And while we're talking about acceleration, here comes a quick pattern interrupt. Isn't it funny how people will spend hours looking for their car keys but won't spend 10 minutes checking their coin jar for a life-changing treasure? The universe has a sense of humor, and sometimes it hides fortune in the smallest, most overlooked places. But now, let's transition from humor back to suspense, because we're approaching a cliffhanger that could redefine your understanding of value. Not all 1945 no-mint mark pennies are created equal. Only a microscopic portion possess the specific error that sparks the massive price tag. And that brings us to the question burning in your mind right now. How can you tell if you have that penny? What details separate a life-changing discovery from an ordinary coin? Picture yourself holding a magnifying glass, examining your coin under the light. The details begin to surface. The unusual strike, the faint but distinct error markings, the texture of the wheat stalks, the sharpness of Lincoln's profile. Authentic high-value error pennies display unique characteristics that specialists can verify quickly. And here's the empowering truth. You don't have to be an expert to begin this journey. You just need awareness, the right guidance, and the willingness to take action. This is where your future begins to shift. Because once you know what to look for, you step into a world where your old forgotten coins are no longer clutter. They are potential assets. Assets with real market demand. Assets that collectors are competing to acquire. Assets that can elevate your lifestyle, your financial comfort, and your long-term security. But here comes one last cliffhanger. because this story is not complete without the question that every viewer is secretly wondering. What if the next person to uncover this $893,000 treasure is you? Imagine the feeling, the excitement, the disbelief turning into exhilaration. The moment where you realize that a tiny piece of copper from 1945 has just rewritten your personal story. It all begins with checking your coins. Because opportunities don't always announce themselves, they wait quietly to be discovered by someone bold enough to look. And maybe, just maybe, that bold person is watching this video right now. So take action. Explore your collection. Dive into your coin jars. Search your attic. Your financial breakthrough could be sitting there, waiting for the moment you finally notice it. Because wealth isn't always found, it's uncovered. And your story, your transformation, your rise into the lifestyle you've always wanted could start with a single penny. Imagine opening an old jar of coins from the back of a closet and discovering a single penny so rare, so astonishing, that it could change your financial future overnight. Picture this: a tiny copper coin worth more than most homes in America today. That's not fantasy. It's happening right now with the 1950 DeWitt penny error variety, a coin that recently stunned the market with an estimated value soaring toward $921,000. Yes, you heard that right. A penny worth nearly $1 million. So don't blink, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why collectors are scrambling to get their hands on this coin, and why your own spare change might hold the key to a lifestyle upgrade you never expected. Act 1 begins with a truth too many people overlook. Fortunes are hiding in plain sight. For decades, the 1950 penny sat quietly in junk drawers, tucked in glove compartments, tossed into coffee cans. People looked at it and saw 1 cent. But collectors, those who know the secret language of rarity, saw something entirely different. They understood that certain mintage errors in this year gave birth to a highly desirable anomaly, a coin that became a silent star in the numismatic world. And here's where the excitement kicks in. As the market shifts and high-net-worth collectors compete, the value of rare errors like this continues to rise. The demand is fierce, the supply is fixed, and the clock is ticking. Speaking of clocks, how is it that time makes everything older except me? Just checking if you're still with me. The story deepens as we move to Act 2. This is where curiosity meets opportunity, and where ordinary Americans start asking themselves a question: could I have one of these pennies? The answer is simple: absolutely. The rare 1950 DeWitt penny error, especially those with striking anomalies, repunched mint marks, misplaced dies, or unusual surfaces, has become a treasure in the modern collector's market. And the best part? Many of these coins were never deliberately preserved. They circulated. They were spent. They were pocketed and forgotten, which means the next great discovery could come from anywhere, including your own home. Yes, even from that dusty mason jar in the garage you've been avoiding since 1997. But stay with me, because in just a moment I'll tell you exactly what makes this particular coin explode in value, and why the latest market appraisal placed it at a staggering $921,000. But before we get to that, let's reset your attention with a quick question. If someone handed you a penny and said it might be worth close to $1 million, would you laugh, or would you sprint to the nearest coin expert? Most people laugh first. Millionaires sprint. Just saying. Now, the rising value isn't just about scarcity. It's about story. Collectors want history they can hold. They want artifacts that survived decades untouched. And the 1950 D penny delivers. With its Denver mint mark, its classic wheat ear reverse, and the rare production errors that slipped through unnoticed, this coin has become an object of fascination. Every detail, every flaw, every tiny imperfection increases its desirability. As investors diversify beyond traditional assets, these rare pennies have ignited a surge in demand. Prices climb, competition intensifies, and the humble 1-cent piece transforms into a high-value asset that serious buyers chase aggressively. Act 3 brings us to the climax. So what exactly pushes the top-graded 1950 DeWitt penny error toward a $921,000 valuation? It comes down to a perfect mix: exceptional preservation, dramatic minting anomalies, a limited surviving population, and overwhelming buyer interest. When a coin features a rare error and remains in nearly flawless condition, the bidding war begins before the auctioneer can even clear his throat. And here's the cliffhanger you've been waiting for. One of the highest valued examples wasn't pulled from a private collection or a museum vault. It was discovered by an ordinary person who simply paid attention. Someone just like you. So take a deep breath and imagine the possibility. What if your old change holds a fortune? What if the next great numismatic discovery isn't hiding in a collector's locked case, but sitting quietly in your home right now? People are selling rare pennies and elevating their lives, paying off homes, traveling the world, building wealth, creating generational security. All from something as small as a forgotten copper coin. As we close, remember this: wealth doesn't always arrive in a briefcase or a stock portfolio. Sometimes it hides in a penny. And every moment you wait, another collector steps forward, another rare coin surfaces, another opportunity shifts into someone else's hands. Your future might be waiting in a pile of old coins. So check your pennies. You could be holding the next $921,000 miracle. Imagine waking up one ordinary morning, reaching into an old drawer, and finding a single penny. Just a tiny, brown, unassuming 1952 wheat cent with no mint mark. Now picture that same penny turning into over $782,000. Sounds outrageous, almost unbelievable. And yet, stories like this are unfolding across the country in quiet kitchens, dusty basements, and forgotten coin jars. Today, we're diving into the mysterious world of the 1952 no-mint mark wheat penny, a coin that seems simple on the surface but has the power to change a life overnight. Before we go further, I'll ask you something unexpected. When was the last time you actually looked closely at a penny? Not just glanced at it, really studied it? You probably can't remember. And that's exactly why so many people miss out on rare treasures hiding in plain sight. The kind that collectors, investors, and auction houses are aggressively hunting for. So stay with me, because in just a few minutes you'll understand why this tiny copper coin is causing a surge of excitement, and in some cases, panic among sellers trying not to miss their moment. At first glance, the 1952 no-mint mark wheat penny looks ordinary. Produced in the millions, it was pocket change for the baby boom generation. But here's where things get truly fascinating. A select few of these coins were struck with errors so rare, so visually striking, and so historically significant that collectors are paying astronomical prices for them. We're talking double dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and misaligned dies, errors that transform a simple penny into a five-figure, even six-figure jackpot. And then there is the elite tier, the nearly flawless, high-grade specimens, coins preserved with impossible perfection. These are the stars of the market, the ones that recently reached a breathtaking valuation of $782,000. The kind of number that makes you look at every coin in your house differently. Every drawer becomes a treasure chest. Every jar becomes a possible vault. But let's interrupt this moment for a second. Have you ever wondered why all the richest people you know never throw away old things? They call it sentimental, historical, or interesting. Let's be honest, they keep stuff because sometimes, just sometimes, it's worth a fortune. And pennies like these prove it. The demand is fierce. Auction houses are scrambling for inventory. Private collectors are circling like sharks around the best pieces. The market is hot, the pressure is rising, and people who take action today are the ones locking in once-in-a-lifetime payouts. The ones who hesitate. They watch opportunities slip through their fingers like dust. Here's the part most people don't understand. The window for major profits doesn't stay open forever. Historical coins move in cycles. Surges of interest, spikes in value, then eventual leveling. Right now, in this very moment, the 1952 no-mint mark wheat penny is at the center of one of the strongest demand cycles in modern coin collecting. Serious buyers aren't just browsing, they're competing. And when competition enters the picture, prices explode. So what does this mean for you? It means that somewhere in your home, maybe in a jar of old coins, maybe inside a forgotten box from your grandparents, maybe mixed with coins you walk past every single day, there could be a penny worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. A penny that could elevate your lifestyle, cut years off your financial stress, or kickstart the wealthy future you've always envisioned. All because you paid attention at the right time. But here's the twist, the cliffhanger you didn't expect. The 1952 penny isn't the only one. There are other dates, other mint marks, other obscure errors quietly gaining traction in the market. Some are even more shocking. Some are selling for more than gold. And in our next video, we're going to uncover the coin that experts believe will become the next $1 million penny. One that most people have never even heard of. So before you go, remember this: fortunes don't always come in big, shiny packages. Sometimes they come as a simple copper coin from 1952, waiting patiently for you to notice. Imagine this. It's 1954 in Denver. Tens of millions of pennies are rolling off the mint machines. The world is busy, factories buzzing, America booming. Nobody suspects that among these everyday 1-cent coins, a small handful contain a mint error so unique, so shockingly rare, that collectors today are hunting them with the intensity of gold prospectors. Most people toss these pennies into pockets, piggy banks, or glove compartments without giving them a second thought. But here's the twist, and the reason you're watching this: that tiny oversight could be worth hundreds of thousands right now. And let me ask you something. When was the last time you actually looked at a penny? Probably not recently. Because who looks at pocket change when the world is running on credit cards and digital wallets? But today you will. And by the end of this video, you might find yourself checking every coin in your home with a flashlight like an excited treasure hunter. Don't worry, you're not alone. Millions of Americans are doing it, too. Some with laughter, some with tears, and some with brand new luxury lifestyles. Now let's step deeper into the story. What exactly makes the 1954 DeWitt penny with a mint error so incredibly valuable? It's not just rarity. It's the perfect storm. A dramatic, unmistakable error from the Denver Mint, the kind that wasn't supposed to escape into public circulation. These error pennies can have double details, misstrikes, off-center impressions, or other anomalies that make collectors compete aggressively for the perfect specimen. Picture a room full of serious buyers bidding feverishly, their hands trembling as the price climbs past $100, $000, $300, $000, $500,000, until it finally hits that staggering $689,000 mark. That's not hype. That's the current demand. That's how powerful the market is right now. And here's where the excitement builds. Most of these error pennies were never recorded, never tracked, never documented. Meaning the next one could be anywhere. In a jar, in an attic, in an old wallet, or even underneath car seats alongside those French fries no one ever claims. The mystery is what fuels the hunt. And your home might be the next site of a life-changing discovery. By the way, if you're thinking, nah, I probably don't have something that rare, let me interrupt that thought with a gentle reality check. Almost every person who became wealthy from old coins started with the exact same disbelief. Then they found one coin, just one, that changed everything. So don't count yourself out. Here's the part most people overlook. The market for rare pennies is not just active. It's exploding. Wealthy collectors, investors, and museums are aggressively buying mint error coins because these pieces are finite, irreplaceable, and historically powerful. And like any high-value market, timing is everything. Values are climbing fast, and the demand isn't slowing down. If you want to step into this world, whether to sell, profit, or simply know what treasure you own, the time is now, not later. But here comes the cliffhanger you didn't expect. The 1954 error penny isn't the only coin that's skyrocketing. There are more pennies out there, hiding, waiting, that could also be worth life-changing amounts. And in a moment, I'm going to reveal 2 secrets that almost no one in the public knows about how to check your coins quickly, accurately, and without needing a professional yet. But before I share that, let me leave you with this thought. Every wealthy lifestyle, every major transformation, often starts with one surprising moment, one discovery. For someone out there, perhaps someone watching this right now, that moment will begin with an old penny they nearly threw away. And that's why this matters. So take a deep breath. Go through those drawers. Check your jars. Pull out those old boxes from storage. Because the next 1954 error penny, the next $689,000 miracle, could be waiting for the person who takes action today. Not tomorrow, today. And now, for the part you've been waiting for. The insider process every seller should know before letting a rare penny out of their hands. But that is coming in the next video. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. Imagine waking up one morning, reaching into an old coffee jar or a forgotten drawer, and discovering that a tiny brown penny, something most people overlook, could be worth more than a luxury home. Today, I'm going to reveal the unbelievable story behind the 1955 no-mint mark wheat penny error coin, a coin that recently shocked the market by selling for over $756,000. Yes, you heard that right. A single US cent, worth the price of a full retirement, financial freedom, and a lifestyle many people only dream about. But before you start racing to the nearest coin jar, there's something you must understand. Because not all 1955 pennies are created equal, and missing one tiny detail could cost you a life-changing fortune that I enact one. Let's step into the world of 1955 America. It was a time of booming industry, roaring optimism, and a mint that was pushing out millions of coins every single day. But in that rush to keep up with production, something unexpected happened on the presses. Something the mint never intended. A misalignment, a mechanical slip, a moment of pure chaos that created one of the most desirable and high-value error coins ever discovered. And here's the twist. The US Mint never officially documented this exact anomaly, making the 1955 no-mint mark error penny one of the most mysterious treasures in American coinage. If you've ever wished you could stumble upon a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, this coin represents that moment. The kind of moment collectors chase for decades. The kind that can elevate your financial reality overnight. But before we dive deeper, let me ask you something unexpected. Have you ever had that feeling when you're checking old change? That tiny whisper in your mind saying, "What if I find something valuable?" Well, get ready, because that whisper is about to get a whole lot louder. And if you're thinking, come on, a penny worth hundreds of thousands? Yes, I get it. It sounds like a plot twist straight out of a comedy movie. Except this isn't fiction. It's real. And the demand is accelerating faster than ever, especially among high-net-worth collectors who are obsessed with acquiring rare American errors. Now in Act 2, let's explore what makes this particular penny so powerful, so rare, and so irresistibly valuable. The 1955 wheat penny is iconic on its own, but the rare no-mint mark error combined with striking anomalies, like doubling, unusual texture, or off-center impressions, transforms this otherwise common cent into a treasure of legendary status. Experts describe it as the crown jewel of mid-century errors. And with supply incredibly small, every new discovery has the potential to ignite bidding wars that end in jaw-dropping numbers. The most recent verified sale hit approximately $756,000, and collectors are predicting even higher numbers as demand skyrockets. This isn't just a coin. It's a time capsule, a financial catalyst, a tangible asset in a world that's becoming increasingly digital and uncertain. But hold on, before you think this is all smooth sailing, here's a cliffhanger worth pausing for. Most people who own these rare pennies don't even know what they have. They toss them, they lose them, or worse, they sell them for a few dollars and watch someone else walk away with generational wealth. You don't want to be that person. And by the end of this video, you won't be. You'll know exactly what signs to look for, how to authenticate value, and how to position yourself for the highest payday possible. So stay with me, because what I'm about to reveal might just be the key to a completely different lifestyle. A lifestyle where opportunity finds you, instead of the other way around. As we enter Act 3, let's talk money, the real numbers, the real market, and the real strategies smart collectors use right now. The rare coin market in the US is booming. With inflation concerns, asset diversification trends, and an explosion of interest from private investors, elite collectors are paying unprecedented prices for historically significant errors like the 1955 no-mint mark wheat penny. This is not hype. This is not speculation. This is a concrete, documented surge. And when an item this scarce hits the market, it becomes the center of a feeding frenzy among buyers who know exactly what they're doing. If you're sitting on a legitimate 1955 error penny, you're not just holding a coin. You're holding a portable investment, one that can be sold in auctions, private sales, and high-end collector networks for truly staggering amounts. Now you may be thinking, all right, but what if I don't have one? And here is where your story takes a turn. You might not have checked properly. You might not realize that one sits in a forgotten family box, or among old inheritance change, or mixed in with everyday coins. And yes, The thought of that possibility should give you chills. Healthy chills. The kind that spark action. Because the minute you walk away from this video, you might walk toward the moment that changes your life. And if you do find one authentic, verified, and in strong condition, you're not just selling an old penny. You're unlocking the kind of financial opportunity most people never even imagined as the video closes. Take this with you. The rare coin world is full of hidden treasures, but few are as powerful, as demanded, or as financially transformative as the 1955 no-mint mark wheat penny error. You have the knowledge. You have the awareness. And now you have the urgency. Don't let another day go by without checking your pennies. Don't leave potential wealth sitting unnoticed in a drawer. Every great success story begins with a moment of curiosity. And sometimes that curiosity is sparked by something as small as a 1-cent coin. Today, that spark could be yours. So start searching, start evaluating, and who knows, your path to a wealthy, elevated lifestyle might begin with a penny that's worth more than pure gold. In the dim corners of drawers, in old jars collecting dust, and inside forgotten boxes tucked away in American attics, there may be a single penny, yes, just one, that can rewrite a person's entire financial story. Today, we're uncovering the jaw-dropping truth behind the 1956 no-mint mark wheat penny, a coin that has recently shaken the collector's world with a staggering $765,000 valuation. And if you're watching this, you might be sitting on something worth more than luxury cars, mansions, or even retirement itself. Welcome to a journey that proves real wealth isn't always found in the bank. Sometimes it's hiding in your coin jar. Imagine this. A man sorting through his late grandfather's belongings opens a little tin box. Inside, nothing special at first glance, just a handful of old pennies. He almost tosses them back, but one coin catches his eye. A 1956 wheat penny. No mint mark. He shrugs. Probably worth a cent. Little did he know, that simple coin would change everything. And I mean everything. That single penny, just like the ones resting casually in homes all across America, held a secret. A rare error, invisible to the untrained eye, yet powerful enough to command a small fortune. By the time he walked into the auction house and collectors saw what he had, jaws dropped, paddles lifted, and the final bid landed just shy of $750,000. Now let me pause. Have you checked your coins lately? Seriously, when was the last time you flipped a penny over and actually looked at it? I'll wait. Because if you haven't, what you're about to learn might be the reason you do it tonight. The 1956 no-mint mark wheat penny wasn't supposed to become legendary. It was minted in Philadelphia, hundreds of millions of them. But only a tiny, almost mythical handful carry the error variety collectors practically fight over. And that error is what skyrocketed one specimen to a current market valuation of $765,000. Now, before you jump into your couch cushions, here's the twist. The rarest versions carry microscopic inconsistencies. Die cracks, doubled features, striking anomalies, missing elements. These imperfections aren't flaws. They're what make the coin extraordinary, coveted, hunted. They are the currency of rarity. And rarity is the currency of wealth. And here's the exciting part. Many Americans, especially those between 30 and 65, unknowingly own inherited jars, collections, or old childhood stashes that haven't been touched in decades. Your financial breakthrough could be sitting silently in a closet right now. Let me ask you something odd. Have you ever tossed away a penny thinking, it's just 1 cent? Well, congratulations, you might have thrown away a house. Maybe even a vacation home. Don't worry, I'm not judging. We've all done it. But from this moment forward, you will never look at a penny the same again. This market isn't slowing down. The demand for rare wheat pennies is surging. Collectors are aggressively bidding. Investors are entering the space, and auction houses are reporting record-breaking numbers. And that brings us to the cliffhanger you need to hear. Because while the 1956 no-mint mark penny is currently valued around $765,000, experts say its trajectory is climbing, and what happens next could redefine the entire rare coin landscape. Now imagine this. You find that one penny. Your hands shake as you hold it up, comparing it to what you learned here. Your heart knows. And for the first time, you feel that jolt of possibility, the same spark felt by those who discovered life-changing coins before you. You take it in for appraisal. The expert's eyebrows lift just slightly, then a little more, until they look directly at you and say, "Do you know what you have?" In that moment, your world tilts. Your decisions shift. Your lifestyle elevates. You're not just living, you're thriving. You can breathe easier, plan bigger, dream without limitation. All because of a penny that most people overlooked. That's the power hidden in old Americana. That's the legacy of the 1956 wheat penny. And before we close, here's your final pattern interrupt. You know that friend who always says, "If something sounds too good to be true, it probably is"? Show them this video. Then watch their expression when you tell them one penny sold for nearly $1 million. Trust me, priceless. Here's the truth. Wealth doesn't always arrive dramatically, wrapped in gold or delivered by luck. Sometimes it comes quietly, subtly, waiting patiently for the moment someone finally pays attention. Go through your coins. Search your boxes. Investigate those jars you haven't opened in years. Because as we've seen, one small discovery can rewrite a future. And who knows, your story might be the next one collectors talk about. And your penny might be the next one valued at over $765,000 or more. This is your time. This is your opportunity. And your wealth might already be in your hands. Imagine waking up tomorrow and realizing that the dusty jar of pennies you've ignored for years might actually hold a tiny piece of copper worth more than a luxury home. Today, we're talking about the extraordinary 1957 D-Wheat penny error coin, a coin that recently shocked collectors when one specimen reached an astonishing $841,000 in the current market. That's right, pennies turning into near-million-dollar treasures. Sounds unbelievable? Good, because what you're about to hear will challenge the way you look at every coin in your possession. Welcome to a world where small change creates big fortune, and where an overlooked coin becomes the key to the wealthy lifestyle you've always imagined. Act 1 begins with a question most people never dare to ask. What if your penny is the one everyone is searching for? The 1957 D-Wheat penny may seem simple, even ordinary, but hidden among the millions minted in Denver are ultra-rare error varieties. Misstrikes, double dies, dramatic misalignments that send collectors into a frenzy. This frenzy isn't mild interest. It's high stakes, high-dollar competition. And that's where the magic begins. Some people walk past wealth their entire lives simply because it looks too small to pay attention to. But those watching this video know better. You're here because you sense value where others see nothing, and that's exactly how fortune starts. But before we get deeper into the details, here's a quick pattern interrupt. Isn't it funny how we've spent years leaving pennies behind at gas stations, thinking they were worthless, when in reality one of them could practically buy us the entire gas station? Suddenly those leave-a-penny trays feel like missed investment opportunities. Now, let's transition into the heart of the story, the moment where a humble 1-cent coin transforms into an $841,000 asset. The rarest 1957 D-era coins have misprints so dramatic they almost look surreal, as if the mint machine had a rebellious moment. Some show doubled inscriptions, others reveal off-center strikes, and a few display anomalies so unusual that experts still debate their origin. These are the coins that ignite bidding wars, coins so desirable that seasoned collectors will fly across the country just for a chance to examine one. And the best part? These coins aren't stored in locked museum vaults. They're out there, still circulating, still tucked inside drawers, still sleeping quietly in inherited jars of old stuff. Act 2 raises the stakes. Imagine holding a coin in your hand and realizing it could wipe out debt, fund retirement, or pay for a dream home. That spark of excitement hits fast, and behind it comes urgency. Because as more collectors enter the market, as more wealth enters the hobby, and as more people discover their forgotten coin's potential, the competition intensifies and the supply shrinks. Every year, the hunger for rare wheat pennies grows stronger, and the prices grow higher. In the world of rare coins, timing isn't everything, it's the only thing. But before you assume all 1957 D pennies are worth a fortune, let me drop a cliffhanger. Not all errors are created equal, and some of the most valuable ones don't even look like errors at first glance. In a moment, we'll talk about the specific features that could elevate your penny into the 6-figure, and yes, even 7-figure category. But hold that thought, Because first, you need to understand why collectors are paying these incredible prices. The demand for legacy coins isn't just about ownership, it's about connection. These coins represent a piece of American history, minted during an era of transformation, innovation, and national pride. For collectors aged 30 to 65, these wheat pennies evoke nostalgia, quality, and the thrill of preserving something meaningful. When emotional connection meets financial opportunity, value skyrockets. That's why coins like the 1957 D-era penny are in such soaring demand. They offer the perfect intersection of rarity, craftsmanship, and historical weight. Now for the moment you've been waiting for, the features that could make your coin one of the elite few worth hundreds of thousands. Some 1957 D-pennies show extreme doubling on the date and mint mark. Others display die cracks that resemble lightning bolts across the copper surface. A few exhibit off-center strikes that shift the entire design several degrees. And the rarest? The dramatic minting anomalies that make your coin instantly recognizable as a collector's dream. These are the coins responsible for that incredible $841,000 valuation. If your penny carries one of these traits, you're holding a life-changing asset disguised as pocket change. Act 3 brings everything full circle. The real question now is simple. If one of these coins is hiding in your home, what are you going to do about it? Time isn't your enemy, but waiting might be. The market is hot, collectors are aggressively buying, and every day someone else discovers their rare treasure while others hesitate. Opportunity doesn't knock softly. It blasts the door open, and this is your moment to walk through it. Point one more quick attention reset. Isn't it amusing how a tiny, copper-colored disc can create more excitement than a lottery ticket? At least with pennies, you don't need luck. Just awareness. As we close, remember this. Extraordinary wealth often hides in ordinary places. That jar in your kitchen, that old box in your closet, that collection passed down from a relative. Any of these could be holding your path to financial freedom. So check your coins, study them, and if you find something unique, act quickly, because the market rewards those who move with confidence and clarity. The 1957 D-era penny is more than a coin. It's a symbol of possibility, of overlooked potential, and of wealth waiting patiently to be claimed. Imagine waking up one morning, reaching into an old jar of spare change, and realizing that a dusty, forgotten penny, one you've probably tossed aside 1,000 times before, could instantly transform your life. Not just by a few dollars, not by a few hundred, but by hundreds of thousands of dollars. Today, we're diving into the incredible story and current market value of the 1957 no-mint mark Lincoln Wheat Penny Error, a coin that is shaking the collector world with a jaw-dropping valuation of $789,000. Yes, you heard that right. Nearly $800,000 for a single penny. And before you think, come on, that's impossible, stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll not only know why this penny is in such high demand, but you'll know exactly what to look for, and you might even discover that you already own one. Welcome to a journey that could literally be worth more than most cars, homes, or retirement accounts. So let's step into Act 1. The story begins in an ordinary American household, just like yours. No fancy vault, no elite collector's display. Simply a family cleaning out old belongings when they stumble upon a forgotten stash of wheat pennies. And buried in the pile? A 1957 wheat penny with no mint mark. At first, it seemed unremarkable. After all, these pennies circulated in the millions. But something was different, something subtle, something that only the most trained eye would notice. And that's where the fear creeps in. How many rare coins have we overlooked? How many life-changing opportunities have slipped right through our fingers because we didn't know what to look for? Maybe that penny you flicked into a fountain for good luck was actually worth more than your monthly mortgage payment. Maybe the one your grandfather handed you for fun could have rewritten your financial future. But here's where the excitement begins, because the 1957 no-mint mark penny with this specific error has become one of the most aggressively hunted coins in the collector world. Not because it's old, plenty of coins are old, but because it carries a minting anomaly so rare, so precise, and so visually captivating that top-tier buyers are willing to pay sky-high prices to secure one. And just when you think you've heard it all, well, you haven't. Because the story is about to take a turn. Let's dive deeper. because the magic lies in the details. The 1957 no-mint mark penny in question contains an ultra-rare striking error that occurred during a brief and unexpected malfunction at the Philadelphia Mint. Instead of the crisp, perfectly centered design that collectors expect, this particular error created a subtle but unmistakable doubling effect on the date and lettering. Not a casual doubling, this is sharp, dramatic, and instantly recognizable to those who know what they're looking for. And here's something that might shock you. Only a handful of these coins are believed to have survived. Not dozens, not hundreds, a handful. Now here comes a quick pattern interrupt, for the sake of your attention and maybe your sanity. Imagine the mint worker responsible for this error. Right now, somewhere in America, he could be sitting in a recliner watching TV completely unaware that one tiny slip of machinery under his watch helped create a coin now worth more than most people earn in a decade. If that isn't a wild thought, I don't know what is. But let's return to you because you're not here for trivia. You're here because you want results, opportunities, and a clear path to wealth. And this coin has become a symbol of exactly that. The high-stakes world of rare coin collecting is expanding fast, with fierce competition among private buyers who are ready to pay extraordinary prices, especially for coins that blend rarity, beauty, and historical significance. This is where excitement meets urgency. Collectors know that once these coins disappear into private collections, they don't come back. They vanish, often for decades, which means the market value doesn't simply rise, it skyrockets. And speaking of skyrocketing, stay with me for the next part because the number you're about to hear is guaranteed to raise your heartbeat. Today, the verified 1957 no-mint mark wheat penny error carries a current market valuation of $789,000. That's not rumor, not hype, not speculation. That is the real, documented amount that top collectors are prepared to pay. Imagine holding a coin worth more than a luxury home in Miami. Imagine realizing that the wealth you've been chasing for decades might have been sitting in a drawer, waiting for you to wake up to its value. And here's where the urgency becomes real. Every day, as more people learn about these rare coins, the competition intensifies. Buyers move quickly. Sellers profit massively, and those who hesitate often miss the golden window. This is why serious collectors and investors are scrambling to locate these pennies, evaluate their condition, authenticate their error, and cash out before the next wave of price surges pushes the coin into the million-dollar range. But here's the cliffhanger, because the next part is what most viewers never see coming. What if I told you that the 1957 no-mint mark penny isn't the only rare treasure hidden in your jars, drawers, and old family collections? What if this is just one example of many coins from the mid-20th century quietly gaining massive value? Some rising as high as 6 figures, others climbing even higher. What if your own collection holds something that could completely change your life? And the most important question of all, will you check your coins before someone else discovers their worth? Because the only difference between a 1-cent penny and a $789,000 masterpiece is awareness. Your wealth could already be in your hands. Your opportunity may already be in your possession. And the lifestyle you've dreamed of, the comfort, the freedom, the security, might begin with something as small as a wheat penny. So take action. Search your collection. Look closely. And most importantly, don't underestimate what you already own. Because in the world of rare coins, the smallest things often hold the greatest value.